And while I believe we all agree on the urgency to innovate, I must say one of the most serious obstacles to doing so has been the lack of stable, predictable, timely funding.
The system is not producing weapon systems for protracted war against a major adversary like China.
As the tension between Taiwan and China is growing, top military analysts warn that an invasion could cost many American lives.
A war game from the Center for Strategic and International Studies begins with a Chinese missile barrage against Taiwan's military in 2026, destroying much of its air force and navy. The war game assesses that the U.S. loses 10 to 20 combat ships, including 2 aircraft carriers and 200 to 400 military aircraft. In 3 weeks of fighting, the U.S. suffers more than 3,000 troops killed in action.
Results and recommendations are the Chinese forces makes this successful landing. U.S.-Taiwan forces exhausted available missiles and ammunition within days in the simulation. Bold and aggressive steps are needed to take and rebuild U.S. defense industrial base and boost production capability and capacity to deter war.
And it's a competition. We win and they lose. And there is only one way to do that, and that is to build the defense industrial capacity that you deter adversaries that are on a wartime footing. But you have to make that case to the American population. You have to make that case and tell them what is at stake. I have not heard anyone make that case. It needs to be made. It was made by Roosevelt in the 1930s. It was made by Reagan in the 1980s. It can be made again in the 2020s.
I have the profound conviction that the American people are now determined to put forth a mightier effort than they have ever yet made to increase our production of all the implements of defense to meet the threat to our democratic faith.